And we're back here again. This is part 2 of the 3D modeling of the Azure Blade. So where we last left off, we essentially we're creating the painting of the Azure Blade on Substance Painter. We're about to do this again, and I'll show you the other way around, the easier way. The way I taught you was essentially the UV mapping technique, as in on UV maps, you first seam things by connecting the lines on the edges. You create those seams just like how you stitch something. Now we're going to do more of an automation technique. So let's check this out. This is part 2 of the Azure Blade creation. So I'm going to show you that. So let's check this out. Here. So you see that thing there? So we're going to just click on that. Yeah. So first you click on your image here in that sense, right? You press edit, you press Control A. Since we have this there in a sense, so give me a second. There we go. Since we have this thing here again, like last time, see what happens here? Just like that. Press edit, Control A. This image here that I'm showing you, that's the original UV mapping technique that I'm showing. So what we can do instead is that we can UV, press this, UV unwrap, and Smart UV Project. That allows us to make this much more easier to use and not as intensive on the mapping itself. So this is just automation for like auto mapping. The first way I taught this was just the UV mapping of like seaming and just UV wrapping and angling it in that sense. That's essentially angle based. So we're going to do this again and then press edit. So just take 2 on this. This is the second style that we're going to use. So I'm going to click on this and click on that as well. We're going to put it like that, and we're going to decrease it, actually, just like that. So this is like a different take on doing the texturing in that sense. The first way makes sense, but to make it easier for the producer or developer to create these things, this is an easier way to develop your stuff. So yeah, we're going to press this, press edit, and press Control A, object, file, export, OBJ, selection only, and object groups. We're going to say this is pass 2. Remember, number your things correctly and like organize your stuffs in folders so you don't end up losing which one it is, which one it isn't. So by making a difference inside of it, you don't end up like losing your focus or getting confused. By the way, make backups so you don't internally scream in your head and just be like crazy and be like, why did I do that, bro? Holy shoot! I should have been a little quicker on that. You see, save your work and not be a dumb boy, big boy, or elephant boy, or dog master. Okay. Now we're going to go into Substance, right? Substance. And I'm going to go here. And we're going to put Substance 3 Painter 2024, which is the one I have. So now I'm going to turn off this and yeah. Okay, and I'm going to show this on here. So, okay, cool. Now I got the screen setup done. Now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So we'll put this screen on hold, and then we'll put this over here as well for you guys to see. And now I'm going to add a new window for you to see on the Substance. So window capture here. Press OK. Alright, cool. There we go. So now we have this image here. Alright, we can open this up. Press open, recent files, press new. Click on that, make this to 4K. Depending on your machine, if your machine's like too weak, use 2K or 1K. And we're going to stick on this, and we're going to go onto the mesh itself. There is Azure Plat. Now we use pass 2. This is the second take. Let's begin. So now we have the blade here, right? And now it looks kind of cool. What we're going to do now is that we're going to use the same principles, only this time I'll make it a little bit lighter in that sense. See? A pass means it doesn't be the same, but just needs to be improved from the last time you developed it. So And we're gonna use, this time, I'm not gonna do too much with the steel paint steel gun in that sense. I'm just gonna make it look the way it's supposed to. So, yeah, just like this. There we go. Ooh, just like, well, it's not even like painting. It's just more like, it's like fill brush in Photoshop, where you just fill something on your model. Same thing. So we're gonna click on this. Same thing. We're gonna click on filter, that, and we'll press gradient. We'll press this here, and then we'll press here as well. I want to make this a little bit red, just like that. Make it crimson. And then I'm going to essentially add the scratches. Press filter, this, gradient, and then I'm going to press this here as well. There, now it looks kind of cool, right? Not bad at all. Alright, this is the second pass, and now it looks kind of cool because it looks like a blade that someone would actually be stylizing into in that sense. Okay, now we're going to, let's see. Yeah, remember the letter stylize thing we used? Put that on top, because I guess that's going to make things easier for you when you understand the process. Then you use black mask, and you click on this, and then we're going to press on that, and then we're going to press on this. Click on every single thing you see here. Yeah, just like that. Cool. Now we're gonna put in the glass visor and then texture that, and then we're gonna put the emissive here as well. There, we're gonna press black mask, and we're gonna be doing the exact same thing as last time. So here we go, and now I'm gonna use my pen here, and I'm going to click on the right spots at the right time. So you click on this here, just like that, and then you click on this too. Just in case, I have a look at the other side as well. And there, you see there's a problem here because I was not intending for that to happen. So you just turn that off, and then you just like click on the right ones you want. So you can click on each point one step at a time. Just like that. And I want to click on this here as well. Cool. Now we're going to use this brush here, and I'm going to try and press this, and I'm just going to press brush. Now I'm going to click on the brush style that I like personally, and then I'm just going to try and apply that to what I do. I'm also going to change the stroke opacity here. The space needs to be like this instead. And I'm going to lower down my brush size, add in distinct details. You see how it works like that? Just like that. Just like Photoshop. This is actually like Photoshop painting in that sense. You see that? Just like Photoshop. Just like Photoshop indeed. Actually, that's not really needed. Alright, we did our work for now. So, once this is done like this, we're going to essentially, we're going to essentially now do the next part. This is part 2, so now you understand 2 steps in other styles of like UV mapping, from angle-based to Smart Project UV. So you now know 2 styles. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to start baking our mesh maps. Since we're only using one mesh for this, we're going to be doing this at 4K. Since our machine's powerful enough, if you have a powerful machine, that's good. If not, do 2K or 1K. Use low poly mesh at a high poly mesh. You click this if your mesh is not really high poly in that sense. That will allow you to use a low poly mesh on your model. Sorry, there isn't really any kind of inconsistencies when it comes to your designing. Then you click on this and you bake textures. Now you see what's going on now. So yeah. Let it bake and see, it's like opening in an oven. You have some bread you can use now. Jokes aside, in that sense too, which is good. And now it's gonna, cool. Now it looks like this now. So it looks red mainly because of the gradient here. So I'm gonna press gradient, and then now we're gonna be looking at this like that. Just like that. Yep. And we're going to do letters. There we go. And then we're also going to be looking at the base color here. And we're going to change this colors to make it look a little more easier to look at. Or something like this. Yeah. There we go. Cool. And now we have this now. So now we're going to look at the glass visor. Our base should probably be a different color in that sense. Just like that. And then we can increase that color range as well in other ways too. There we go. You see that? Alright, cool. So now we have something we can look at. So we can also render this on Substance, but for now, I'm just trying to explain that what you're looking at is very similar, if not kind of close to a close copy of this sword I created. The only difference is that I didn't really add in the extra parts here, but the overall like setup is just very similar in general too. This is just meant to be an exercise and meant to actually show my process when it comes to creating blades like this in general too. As you can tell in that sense, so yeah. So our next step is to see if the colors are actually matching. So we're going to look up here and we're going to increase the shadows here. You see? Put this in intensive and then we can start changing those colors depending on what we want. You see? And that's what it looks like now. Just like that. Cool. So now, overall, now you understand what I actually did create in that sense. So that's how you create a blade similar to that. And if you want me to prove it or prove it's the same color, we can just look back at this again. And now by that I mean I'm going to just show the color here. Go to gradient. Here, I'll just take out my thing here. I'll just change my gradient back to blue. Make it a brighter blue in that sense. And there, you see? Kind of looks similar now. Exceptions is it's the base color, but we can put that right back into something like this. Maybe orange. Yeah, like orange like that. Same thing, and then we go into base, and then we just increase the glowing edges. And then we also create the base and make it a little brighter like sense too. Maybe blue here as well. There, you see? Now it looks like the blade that looks like what it looks like in this image here too as well. You see that? Just like this image. You see that? Kind of similar, but yeah. Overall, this is a two-part session on how I would actually create my previous models. And I was asked to do this because people were presuming there was no process, so they wouldn't trust it, or they think it's coming from something else that they can't explain, or it feels like it's not truly legitimate or credible in that sense. This is me processing it and actually showing it in real time. That you can create this in real time, just like how I did it. And in other words, it's essentially an homage to this image here. That's why I did it. So thank you so much for reviewing this, and yeah, overall we created a cool concept. This is the design I wanted to design, and I was able to reach it. So it's pretty good. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to say this save as. Yep. So yep, that's the blade overall. So now you know I created this using my own techniques and my own design forms. This is what I created in a matter of like an hour or so. So thank you. Thank you so much for viewing this in the end. Thank you. And there's more to come. There's more in the process. So I'll show more other blade works that I've designed. And I'll explain each process when it comes to creating it on the next episodes of these processes. This is not the last one we're going to do. We're going to do many more of these ones in the end. From the other ones I showed online to many new ones I can create. So thank you so much for viewing this. It was kind of tiring for me to do this, but I love doing it despite the long durations of skill and burnout. But you know, it's good enough, and it's good enough finesse. Thank you so much for expressing me my design times, and I'm glad in this opportunity to work with people, and I'm glad to be asked to do this. So thank you so much. This is my proof. Catch you later. Vince sending you out, or Rick Master out. Yeah.